That Four Corners is pretty good. Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it for a while. Do you mind watching it again, Delta? I think I'll just watch this.
An offensive from the fringes has been launched against mainstream society.
This is your opportunity to leave. If you don't do that, we'll get it.
Have you got all that?
How do you feel then when you get labelled as a domestic terrorist?
It's just what we call the spin. It's like the sovereign citizen. It's out there to try and discredit us.
It's a quasi-civil war. And the front lines are courts, councils, and cops.
Didn't this stuff all start in America? Why do like the right wing of Australia just worship America and want to copy like everything that's happening there? It's such bizarre behavior. Like, you live in paradise. Why are you acting like this? It's so freaking weird, man. It's so weird. Propaganda and soft power, yeah. But at least like follow one of the cool soft powers like Japan or Korea or something. Look, like if you're watching K-drama and listening to K-pop, or you're watching anime and like listening to baby metal, it's, you know, it could be worse. It could be worse. You could be doing this. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Thank you, maybe soon.
The new armies are self-appointed law enforcement.
Wait, why do they have the maritime flag? That's the maritime flag of Australia. Because paradise is their nightmare. You're the Cook-a-Law guy? Yeah, you are. Why? Do they also think that they're on a boat? Do they think they're pirates? Because I want to be a pirate. Wait, how do I join? Let me join. I want to join. I want to be a sovereign citizen. They think they're pirates. I want to be a butt pirate. I don't know what that means. Yes, I do. I take that back. Goodbye. I'm going to bed.
Oops.
The defendants, in this case, former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, on the charge of human trafficking.
Guilty.
And so these sovereign citizens, like, what are they saying?
Some people call these groups sovereign citizens.
Are you a sovereign citizen?
I am a sovereign citizen, and everyone is a sovereign citizen.
Many try to distance themselves from the label.
Is this the peak body representing the sovereign citizen movement?
Nah, there is no peak body, and there is no sovereign citizen movement.
Whatever.
Wait, he is a pirate. He's on a boat. He's on a boat. I saw the wheel. I saw the wheel. I want to be a pirate.
Whatever they call themselves, these groups are united in a belief that the government is illegitimate. They operate in an alternate reality where people have ultimate authority over the state. They believe a new age is coming.
Post-COVID, the sovereign citizen movement is not fringe anymore. Governments are underestimating the reach and threats of these movements.
These groups take us inside their movement for the first time. We ask them what they want and what they're prepared to do to get it.
People that are angry and are willing to choose which laws to obey or not do.
Australia is weird. I don't know where you're from, Milk, but if you're from America, which I don't know where you're from, but if you are from America, these weirdos are copying this from America, just so you know. Just so you know. Not the flag thing, but the rest of it. Now this is bigger in America. Yeah, because I only had heard of American sovereign citizen. Western society is weird. Yeah, it's definitely getting freaky out there, Raven. It's definitely getting weirder, that's for sure.
Start making death threats. This is really violent. We have to be really careful about this. This is not a laughing matter.
Ooh.
Just wave to a cop. Here he comes.
I just need your driver's license. You're the driver.
I'm not driving. Driving is a techno term for in-commerce. Please provide evidence I'm doing business.
What?
You might recognize these scenes.
But I'm not under your law.
Oh, I remember this video actually. Jesus, it's an old one.
Are you conspiring to commit murder? In fact, you can't force rape me.
Is it your vehicle?
During COVID,
Yo, what did she just say? What did she... That word has a meaning, sweetie.
a group of people started broadcasting their clashes with police.
Travelling in my car.
No, you can call it whatever you like, but I'm telling you, you're driving a motor vehicle in Victoria.
Oh, whoa. He's under arrest.
Please state your name and address.
The common law does not require...
Please state your name and address.
But I bet you, like, as soon as, like, they hurt themselves or their kids need to go to the emergency room, they're more than happy to go to the state hospital. They're more than happy to drive on the state's roads, use all the infrastructure. But, a lot of older people, Raven, a lot of older people, you know, they were brought up with, like, a very binary, you know, system of the way that things work. And it's very, very hard. Like, I know for grandparents and things like that, it's very, very hard for them to understand, because it's like very outside of like the very narrow way like that they grew up. Your grandparents are so much better than him. Your grandparents sound really sweet then. They must really love you, and they probably worked really hard to understand and support you. So that's really cool. Maybe your dad's just a dickhead. I mean, I hope he comes around. And can support you. But you know, I don't really know what to say, man. That's so tough. But yeah, you only have one life, and you have to be true to yourself and do what makes you happy. You know, you don't live your life for other people, live your life for yourself. It's the only way that you can really be happy. So it might be hard at first, but in the end, you know, living authentically as who you are, you know, will ultimately make you happier, I think. So, you know, we'll be thinking of you, and we'll be we'll be hoping that everything is okay for you. So, and you can always come back in chat and let us know how you're going if you want. Oh, the sovereign citizen is coming to get me. I'm scared. She's a robot lady. You're just waiting for when you have housing stability and stop needing him to house you? Yeah. Do you think he would kick you out, or you just would rather? Yeah, look, I have a very, very, very abusive mother. So I left home when I was 17, and I don't even talk to my mom anymore. But yeah, I definitely understand needing to get away from a parent that's toxic. I definitely understand that. So yeah, it's definitely a lot better where you don't have to feel like you're walking around on eggshells. That's a really bad way to live your life. So yeah, I hope you're able to get housing, be by yourself, be independent, and just be able to live your life the way you want to. That would be awesome. So I really hope that's how it works out for you.
Arrest. Let me put it to you that acts only apply to persons, to fictitious people. I'm a living man. Do you agree that I'm a living man? You don't have consent.
I don't know. You might be a robot.
If you break my window, open it up. If you break my window, no, you are trespassing against my property, sir.
But what starts as a bold declaration of freedom from the law can quickly turn to financial ruin or imprisonment.
You're on my property, mate. I'm asking you.
I'm on your property because we are impounding your vehicle.
I want to meet the man in this video.
You're breaking the law, fellas. I know the law.
You don't think your dad really loves you or any of your siblings? Just the thought of you? Yeah, a lot of parents, especially if they have not necessarily like narcissistic personality, but narcissistic traits, they only really see their kids as extensions of themselves. So they want their kids to be what they feel will reflect positively to the community. So they want their kids to just exist to make them look good. And if they think you're doing something that, you know, isn't yeah, it's just a really, really messed up way to look at the world, right? It's really, we can at least call it small n narcissistic, as in like, you know, it's a very self-centered way to look at the world. And in some cases it's even like a pathological, like a big N, you know, narcissistic personality trait as well. It's yeah. Your younger sister is a dead ringer and his favorite. Well, yeah, that would indicate that that's probably, you know, he's probably using you guys as a proxy, you know, for his own ego. A lot of parents are like that. My mum used to abuse me when I was little because when I was born, her family said that I was ugly. And so, you know, I used to cop like a lot of abuse. And then when I got to about 13 and 14 and people started saying that I was, oh, your daughter's so pretty, oh, your daughter's so stunning, yada, yada, yada. She sort of like started to like take photos of me around in like her wallet to show people and like just like really bizarre behavior. And my brother says like she has like photos of me on her phone that she'll like show people just randomly. Like if they ask her if she's got any kids, she'll be like, this is my daughter who lives in Melbourne, yada, yada, yada. And I don't even talk to her. But yeah, she did some pretty horrific things to me when I was a kid. So like we're talking like broken bones, concussions, pretty extreme abuse. So I do know what it's like to have a shithead parent for sure. When you were little, he was always at work and you didn't know what he was like. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, my mum was a stay-at-home mum because my big sister is disabled. So she was always there and she would always get frustrated because my sister's disabled, but she would take it out on me. So it was a good time. Hello, Farron. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We are watching a documentary about sovereign citizens. Don't ask me. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. We're here to learn. We are here to learn. All morning. It is 10 to 10 p.m. So it's almost 10 p.m. in Australia. It is Friday night. Oh yeah, let's party.
I'm good. I think I'm at the end of your street. How are you, John? Good to meet you. Thanks for having us.
That's good. Appreciate it. Oh, boy.
See you again.
One-time law student John Lukrembo lives on a houseboat docked on Hindmarsh Island.
Come on, mate.
Thanks for having us.
So it's pretty basic, anybody?
How long have you been out here?
2 years. 2 years now on the boat. That's just good. A coffee was all right. Coffee. We'll make a beautiful coffee for you, man.
From his boat, John is waging what he calls lawfare against the system. He has thousands of followers.
I think what I see, and I said to you, it's like a quasi-civil war. Yeah, it's like a paper war. You know, sugar?
That would make sense because we're Australia's east of India, so it would make sense that we're about three and a half hours ahead of you in India. That would make sense. John is so uncomfortable. Yeah. What does one-time law student mean? Does that just mean that you went to law school for like, you just did like a semester of your degree? Or does that mean that you have a degree? Like what does drop out? It means to drop out. Okay. So I am more of a legal scholar than this guy then, because I finished. Yay.
When COVID border closures kept him from visiting his mother, John began questioning the government.
My mum was, she was getting cancer treatment. She was in stage 4. So when we weren't able to see her, that was profound because it was the first time that I thought, wait a second, I thought we were one country, like a federated country, and they closed the borders. And we were like, and so that then really started making me question the law.
We are a federated country. The federation is that the states form the Commonwealth of Australia. You can literally read the Australian Constitution. You can read the Federation Act of 1900, or 1901. Can't remember which now. But anyway, you can read it. It tells you how the country's structured. It's very well documented. It's very, very, very well documented.
And I did always want to sort of study. And at that time,
but you also really you wanted to see your mum, right?
I really wanted to see mum, yeah. So I went over, I broke the law, that they said there was at the time. And that was pretty tough. This is the thing that, I didn't get vaccinated, I didn't wear a mask, I was ostracised in my community. I had pretty strong beliefs about what was going on. We haven't had any accountability and the people are still angry. Under the surface, still bubbling, that anger is still bubbling.
Do you want to hear something really sad? COVID didn't affect my life at all, apart from the working from home thing, because I've been way too sick to have a social life for so long. I remember my friends all talking about, they were telling me, I met up with a bunch of my friends a while ago, and they were all talking about how hard COVID was for them, and they had to get counseling and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, it was actually a lot better for me because of my immunosuppressants. I was able to get priority home delivery because I had a letter from my doctor that I sent to Woolworths, and they gave me priority delivery, and yeah, it just made my life so much easier. COVID ruined your last year of high school. It was the last thing that made you crash hard. Yeah, a lot of people found it really hard, but because I've been so sick for so long, I haven't really been able to have a social life or like do anything. So doing everything from home made it easier for me. Because I don't really talk to anyone from like outside of my immediate household. Work carried on. You gotta love working at Woolies. I do. Woolies does have the best bakery. Woolworths bakery shits all over Coles bakery, I have to say. Although I do really like the yellow donut from Coles. That's the only thing. But everything else at Woolworths is better. Okay. Here's Canberra. The Illuminati. Look. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Anger over COVID restrictions reached a crescendo in 2022 during the convoy to Canberra.
Stand your ground, hold your line in light, in love and peace, and lawfully.
Oh no. Oh no. The cringe, the cringe. It's running through my soul.
The largest protest ever held on the steps of Parliament.
Oh no, they're storming the Capitol, guys. Oh, not him. Oh, not Avi. Oh, not old mate Avi. Oh. Do you reckon I could take him in a fight? No, actually, he'd probably stab me in half. Let's not try. Let's not try. I would like to see him. I would like to see him get punched in the face, though. That would be mad fun.
I can still hear the excitement in your voice.
Oh, it was because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know. I thought I was just going there to be a protester. Like everybody else, just say enough's enough. But then what happened when I got there, really quickly within sort of 48 hours, I found myself like right at the tip of the spear.
Unit, forward, forward.
The protesters were kicked out, and one of the organisers was arrested when police found his loaded sawn-off rifle. The convoy was over, but a new movement was born.
For a lot of people, that was the first time that they'd really confronted law as a coercive force. Law telling you that you can't do the thing that you really want to do. I have to wear a mask in public. I have to get the vaccine if I want to go into this job. That felt really onerous for a lot of people. And suddenly, law was not always their friend.
Dr. Joe McIntyre has been charting the rise of what's called pseudo-law. It's where people use legal-sounding phrases and arguments that have no actual basis in law. They're often drawn from conspiracy theories.
There were gatherings of anti-vax protesters that really operated to help disseminate a lot of the theory of pseudo-law. And then that spread back into the regions, and we've got different hotbeds all around Australia.
So I was finding out who was challenging the system. So there's different methods of challenging it that people are doing.
John operates in an alternate legal world, and it's difficult to make sense of it.
This is some of the paperwork that comes through that's been actually interpreted into sort of Australian jurisdiction to explain what it is, okay? So, and this is why I've never presented this to any authorities, okay? Because I innately know what's going on with the sovereign citizen movement. Okay, that's a declassified AFP document. So this here is...
Do the AFP typically classify their documents? I mean, I would say that like ASIO and AEST do, but like would the AFP typically have classified documents? Did he just find it on their website? Did he just find a like PDF on their website and he thinks he like hacked the database? He's a hacker man, hacksaw man.
Literally what they are talking about. So that there, where you see when someone's put a thumbprint on there, the AFP and the authorities say that if you see that anywhere, you're dealing with a sovereign citizen. They don't worry about what's written on there. They look at something as an identity.
It sounds like they've made a guide for police officers who are dealing with these nut jobs. Like, hey, if you see one of these crazy gibberish documents and it's signed with a fingerprint, it means you're dealing with a sovereign citizen. They're just literally saying, hey, be aware that these knobheads are out here. If you pull one over, they're gonna go, like... I wonder what degree of mental illness is involved in this as well, because just as somebody that has a schizophrenic sibling, his demeanor is very much giving lost touch with reality a little bit. They do say they're pretty concerned about this in the court system now. Well, imagine, look, I am somebody that goes to court regularly because of my job, right? I'm a social worker. I give evidence in court a lot. And I can say that our courts are clogged. They're clogged. There's not enough resources. Sometimes cases that really need to be prosecuted can't be prosecuted, or they can't be prosecuted for years. It's really hard. And then if we've got all these dickheads taking up police resources and court resources, it's really going to be... Can you imagine a cop trying to read 30 pages of gibberish? Well, yeah, that's why the AFP have a document circulating to law enforcement saying, hey, if you see a document that looks like that with a thumbprint on it, it was made by a crazy person called a sovereign citizen. Just, they're crazy. Just try and de-escalate the situation if you can. I'm sure it says something to that effect. I mean, that would be my advice. That's always my advice when dealing with people that are, maybe experiencing some type of episodic mental health issue.
Identifier here. But when you look at that identifier, you can also see that there's a public notary.
What's the significance of all of this?
Right. So it has come to my attention that the occupying Unidroit government is in flagrant violation of Palermo protocols through unconscionable use of debased dog Latin gloss of fraud. Therefore, I'm cancelling power of attorney of my legal persons and all relevant trade names back to the permanent domicile of the land and soil jurisdiction of Terra Australis, commonly known as the Commonwealth of Australia. Effectively,
John believes this document cancels his legal status in the mainstream system. This, he says, allows him to live his life according to a set of principles he calls common law.
So what is common law?
Well, in whose eyes? I mean,
in your eyes?
Well, in my eyes, common law sort of means a few things. Common law is, do no harm, injury, or loss. Just come over here, mate. Just walk your step.
The way these groups use the term common law is different to the way our legal system does.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It empowers them to operate under a natural, God-given law that is superior to any of the rules that govern society.
Can you see why these ideas might appeal to most people? This is really a powerful spell. If I cast this spell properly, I don't have to pay my mortgage. Who wants to pay their mortgage? I don't have to pay my tax. Who wants to pay their tax?
The divine right of Shazza and Bazza from down the street. Yeah, they go all right.
So I can believe in the law, I have the access to the true law, I'm not a lawbreaker, and I avoid those legal consequences I don't want. That's a really beguiling combination. And we get lots of different groups that are doing this. But the sovereign citizen is the one that most people may have heard of before.
John doesn't consider himself a sovereign citizen, but many of his arguments come from their playbook. Last year, he was charged with driving unlicensed, unregistered, uninsured, and with someone else's plates on his car.
People are going to ask, why don't you just get a license?
Okay, so...
You know what I mean?
I read too much law. That's probably why. I just like to question everything and challenge and test. And what I found is that...
Yeah, and I'm a little turd too, but you know what I do? I pay my taxes. I make sure I have a license. I do all of these things because I am somebody with no social capital. I don't have any rich people in my family. I'm not connected to anyone. I'm not related to anyone. If I fuck up, I am going to be prosecuted with the full force of the law. Nobody's coming to save me. I'm a little turd and I like to oppose everything. But I like to do that within the confines of the law, okay? Look, I like to push people's buttons. I like to be a little shithead. It's fun. I enjoy it. I'm a cheeky little gremlin girl, I would say. That is an accurate description of me. But, yeah, not gonna catch me not registering my car and not being insured. And also, insurance isn't just to protect you, it's also to protect people that, you know, you hit? What if you hit another car and you damage that car? And, you know, you need to pay, like, that could be a poor family's way of getting around, and you don't have the money to pay for the car, and you don't have third-party insurance, then what happens? Then what happens then? It's not all about you. You pay rego and you pay third-party insurance and all these things, not necessarily for you, but for society. Like, how these things freaking work. You little weirdo. You little weirdo. His jumper says hood law. Yeah, this guy's mad hood on his little boat in the middle of paradise. That's so hood, bro. That's so
Once we start
hood.
applying the rules like everybody else does, like comparison lawyers do, is that we start to have success.
There is absolutely no legitimacy to any of it. And that has been found by courts at every level and in every state in Australia and at every...
Is that the University of New South Wales? It looks like it. I went here. Yay. That looks like upper campus, if I am not mistaken.
Every level and in every country in the world.
Nope.
Before he was Dean of
I am
Law at
wrong.
Southern Cross University, David Halpern was a magistrate in New South Wales. He remembers when he first encountered sovereign citizen
Well, I guess they've been building those lecture theatres at a few places.
or pseudo-law arguments in his courtroom.
A smattering of people came before me talking what I thought was an entirely different legal language, which was along the lines of, I am not that person, you must capitalise my name, you have no authority to sit there, you didn't take an oath, I have a right to a trial by jury, and sort of a mishmash of what we now know as sovereign citizen views, theories and approaches.
These groups are no longer an occasional administrative headache.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to set up parallel laws and a parallel society, you kind of need the numbers to do that, and you kind of need the infrastructure to do that. You can't just say, oh, I've invented a whole new society. It's like, you know, when you're a little kid and you want to like, oh, I invented a fairyland and yada, yada, yada. And then you try and make your parents like, and your siblings live by like this new law that you make, and you give them all names and stuff. And they're like, ah, no, you little weirdo, go away. And then you're like, oh, I can't make people play games, like these very restrictive games with these very strict rules that I play because they don't want to and they think I'm weird and they don't want to play. But like these people never grew out of like that phase, right? You know when you have you're babysitting a little kid and they'll like come up with this convoluted game that makes no sense and you try and play it with them, but then you eventually have to say to them, hey, I know it makes sense to you in your head, but this isn't actually something that's a viable game. It doesn't make sense. It's very erratic. It's very all over the place, and you're just making and changing the rules as you go along. So, you know.
For courts, we've confirmed they're now a top concern within the judiciary today. A few weeks after we met John, we join him as he faces the Adelaide Magistrates Court.
John, good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
What's your charge?
Well, the charges are minor driving matters, just driving offences.
Did he just say drunk driving? Drunk driving is not a minor matter. Not only did you put your life at risk, you put other people's lives at risk. I'm sorry, that's not minor. Drink driving is not minor. What if you orphaned children? Or what if you killed children? What if you hit a family car and you killed a family? Or you killed, parents who have young children? Like, no, drink driving is freaking serious, you gronk. Take some responsibility for your actions. This is a man-child that doesn't want to take responsibility for his actions, so he's made up his own little rules. Absolute insanity. Oh, just a minor matter of drink driving. Yeah, you're lucky you didn't kill anyone, you dickhead. Sorry, that really upsets me. I had a friend who lost their parents to a drink driver, so these guys turned $100 parking fines into $10,000 court cases. Yeah, well, the only people they're outsmarting are themselves. It really is that simple.
This has been, for me, an investigation to be able to get all the evidence that I needed to show the collusion that's being used against the Australian people for propaganda of name-calling them something, whether it be sovereign citizen, so that they can deny them due process, procedural fairness, and natural justice.
Huh.
I go in to watch. John tries to mount a common law defense that he was breaking the law out of necessity. And as evidence, he presents the declassified AFP briefing on sovereign citizens he showed me earlier.
Oh no. You didn't, did you, mate? You're just gonna make yourself look more crazy. Honestly, I would be sending him for a mental health assessment if I was the magistrate. I would be sending him for a mental health assessment. Yeah, this is not normal.
His arguments fail, and he's found guilty on all 5 counts.
How do you feel the judge found you guilty on all 5 counts?
It's a technical process. And this is what I can tell you right now, is that people are being disillusioned with. When they see people like me that really try their heart out to learn and do everything the right way, and they go, well, if you've got a guy like that that's trying to do it the right way and it doesn't work, we might as well go in there and give them the pseudo-law arguments. As I say in law, you don't win or lose, you win or learn.
John is still waiting to be sentenced.
These are people who feel as though they've lost a lot or are at risk of losing it all.
And many of them are, because once they go down the rabbit hole of sovereign citizenship, they may lose their licence, but they don't care. That doesn't apply to them, so they keep driving. So then it's drive while disqualified. And then they don't stop when the police tell them to stop. And that becomes a police...
And what are you going to do when you're in a jail cell? Just explain to the jail walls, hey, I'm a sovereign citizen, and what you think they'll magically dissolve. Like, where do you think this is going to end up? Just because you don't recognize the law doesn't mean the law doesn't recognize you. Like, that's not how it works. What in the actual flip?
Chase. And then, so it just escalates. And
Oh wait, hang on. I think I saw Ricochet earlier. Did Ricochet come? Hello, Ricochet. Hi. I think I saw you. Hi.
end result for many of them is prison. And they're going to fight that every step of the way.
Threats to judicial officers from pseudo-law adherents are real and rising.
You are now charged, you are under arrest, you are trading in necromancy, you are in treason.
What? Necromancy? They're bringing dead people back to life? I thought I was the only witch in the chat. What the heck is happening? He's committing treason and necromancy? Where did he find the dark spellbook? I need it. I need it. I need it to fulfill my destiny. Please, sovereign citizen, give me the book of judge, I need the book of necromancy.
You are in treason.
This man, Derek Ballog, has a history of intimidating courts. He sells advice to people in expensive online classes, claiming great success in getting people off charges.
Could I get someone to count how many sheriffs are here, because they will all be putting our affidavit to the federal police? I've got one sheriff's badge number. Can we have every sheriff's badge? 8.
Judges, including David Heilpern, have been the target of death threats.
Yes, threats against me, threats against lawyers, threats against police. There was a person who regularly appeared before me in a court charged with a whole range of offences, and he had been mounting sovereign citizen arguments which I had been dismissing and convicting him, and then he bailed himself up in a house, indicated that he was going to kill anyone who came for him, and kill the judicial officers, not just me but others who'd been involved in his case. That means increased protection at your homes, your family have to be alerted, there's increased security measures in the courts. Those things take a toll on you as a judicial officer and as a person, as a parent.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a lot of vulnerable people and a lot of people with mental health issues who are being sucked into this. And maybe even developing mental issues because, developmental delays, because to a person of average or above IQ or a mentally, healthy person, or a person that, is not disenfranchised from society. This just all sounds like gobbledygook. This just all sounds crazy because it is. You remember he said once he arrested the magistrate in court? Yeah, he said, "I'm arresting you," and that was his arrest. And then the video cut. And it was probably him being dragged away by the bailiffs or something. Absolute insanity. But yeah. Look, I don't think there's any, big-brained successful people in this movement. Let's just say that. I think unfortunately the people that are falling into this movement are probably like very vulnerable, and he's never won a case. Well, he can't win a case because he's arguing for things that don't exist within our parameters of a legal system. He's invented a parallel legal system, and you can't do that. You can't just create your own parallel legal system and then ironically his sister is a lawyer. Yeah, he's probably heard the terminology that his sister uses and just puts it all together not knowing what it means. Yeah, that's terrible.
These kinds of threats have the capacity to become violent.
They're saying that their laws and their rules and their orders override the legitimate ones. And that is a step towards what we've seen, which is violence.
Oh no.
The US has seen a cascade of violent incidents involving sovereign citizens,
Uh-oh.
like the shooting of 2 police officers during a traffic stop in Arkansas in 2010. The heavily armed assault on a courthouse in Georgia in 2014. And just last year, 5 shootouts with police, including at 2 traffic stops.
Hey, Patrick. This is the last chance to come out, Patrick. You've got a felony warrant for your arrest, a bunch of other warrants. Oh, there you go.
Oh, God.
I've been tracking sovereign citizens' interactions with police and also sovereign citizens who have engaged in violence.
Dr. Christine Sarteski is a professor of criminology who's been recording these incidents for years internationally.
I have currently, in terms of the violence database, over 600 cases where they have engaged in violence, and approximately 140 of them are involved in murder cases. And you know, there's been I think a notion that sovereigns are rarely violent. I think that I've heard that repeatedly, that they are primarily paper terrorists. And so I wanted to track some of their behavior and crimes to see, is that true? Are they primarily paper terrorists? And while it is still early in the data collection process, it does seem that they do engage in quite a bit of violence activity.
Well, they're indoctrinated into like an ideology. They really believe this stuff, and they feel threatened by the actual legal system because they see it as something like oppressive, right? They see it as oppressive. They see it as they see actual society as the enemy. And yeah, I think a lot of these people have mental health issues or developmental issues, or yeah, just vulnerable people getting caught up into this ideology. And if they're talking to other people that are just as batshit as them every day, like, this is what's going to happen. They're going to become radicalized. They probably fantasize about having like shootouts with the cops, right? Going down in a blaze of glory for the sovereign citizen movement.
And it's happened here too. Wiambilla is a rural town west of Brisbane. In late 2022, it was the scene of a deadly shooting and marked a turning point in Australia's understanding of domestic extremism.
He shot Rachel, I believe. I think she's dead.
Oh, jeez.
They're coming. They're shooting the other 2 officers.
Oh, I remember this. This was the ex-school shooter, right? Oh, no.
Fuck. You good? Fuck. They got shot. Fuck.
I like it. I know it's just like a knee-jerk reaction to ask someone if they're all right, but the poor woman is in so much pain. Oh.
2 police officers and a neighbour were murdered in a premeditated ambush by Gareth, Nathaniel and Stacey Train, who adhered to a Christian extremist ideology. The attack bore the hallmarks of sovereign-style paranoia, distrust of state authority, rejection of legal legitimacy, and the belief that violence was justified in resisting tyranny. Some of the people we spoke to for this story described the Trains almost like martyrs for the freedom movement. After the shooting, Queensland Police and ASIO said the Train family were not sovereign citizens. It highlights a problem with trying to divide people into narrow groups when they seem to be part of one common cause. If authorities fail to recognise a broader definition of anti-government extremism, they could miss the true extent of this evolving movement. People that we've spoken to are really trying to distance themselves from the sovereign citizen label.
I have seen that as well, the shift away from the term sovereign citizen, and I think it's primarily because there is a belief among many sovereign citizens that their governments have labeled them as terrorists, and they do not wish to be seen as a terrorist. They don't regard themselves as such.
Is it a rebranding, or do you think it's a genuine shift in their ideology?
No,
I think it's an
rebranding.
attempt at a rebrand, but if you
Yep.
listen to what they say, everything is what they've always said.
What? We're in Tassie.
Northwest Tasmania is a known hotbed of anti-government views. Here, people are forcing their agendas on local councils. And many of the people we're speaking to say this man is a key figure in implementing the strategy, Shane Allison, known as Kush.
How are you, Kush? Good to meet you. You too.
Good night, Raven. You missed talking about the hidden Australian R and anime horse girls. There is no hidden Australian R. We don't say the letter R, not at the end of words. It literally... Australians, back me up. There's no R at the end of our words, is there? There is none. You gotta go to lunch and suddenly we are murdering our neighbors with sniper fire. Yeah, because we're watching a documentary about crazy people that shoot people. Good night, Raven. Have a nice sleep. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
So this is sort of where it all started. My grandmother lived up there on the corner in Bells Parade. And
Kush's views range from opposition to wind farms and vaccines to conspiracy theories that politicians traffic children and Jewish bankers control the world. He rejects the term sovereign
Hi, Oma. Good to see you.
citizen.
it's a total oxymoron. Same as conspiracy theorist. And it's just branding people names, you know. You get people, I deal with people that call themselves activists. Why do you want to be branded anything?
But there is an umbrella of frustrations that these community members all feel together.
Umbrella's probably a good word rather than a bracket. And yeah, they all feel disjointed, not getting, just being respected for coming in as a community meeting.
Kush believes the best way to challenge the government is with grassroots action in local councils. He's a former councillor himself.
You can enact a lot of changes if you have a fair
See, he's a former councillor. That's how he's seen the lizard people. That's how he knows they're real. We can trust this dude. That's why he knows. That's why he knows who run the world, lizard people. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. Hashtag David Icke was right, guys. We knew it. We knew it all along.
Council and proper debate, and people are voting on their community to start with, then their region, then their state, rather than voting for an idealism of a government or an opposition or a party, or what the government's agenda is trying to be pushed.
What about the councillors that say they feel threatened when people come into the council meetings in big numbers?
If you're not answering the questions and you get gaslit while you're in there, yes, people get angry. This is where I grew up, all around here.
Kush's main goal appears to be greater scrutiny of all local council decisions. This campaign is placing a major burden on them. Earlier this year, Kentish Council held a vote on a motion claiming COVID vaccines are contaminated. Kush and his supporters backed it, and it passed 22-12.
Okay.
The mayor told us councils don't have the authority to decide on anything to do with vaccines.
Not really. That's usually the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, which is like the Australian FDA. But yeah, definitely is definitely not in the jurisdiction of a local government, one would say.
Kush rejects that. He believes the people have spoken and organised a protest at a Kentish council meeting.
And what they say goes, they don't listen to the people at all.
We've got to make it, though, before they shut the back door as well.
Round the back door. Hey, we can't get in the front door. We'll have to go round the back.
Quick, so they don't.
Oh, the poor old ducks are trying to get in there before it closes. Run!
2 of the residents turn up.
We need to get mobility scooters for them so they can protest more efficiently. Their poor little old legs can't carry them. I don't know why all of a sudden, now that it's cute old people, I'm like, yay, go the sovereign citizens. But when it was just like some like dickhead on his boat, I was like, whatever. But now that it's a cute old man, I'm like, what? He's so nice. I don't know. I'm easily swayed, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Or am I? I don't know. I don't know who I am.
Despite being banned for what the council says is unacceptable behaviour. The police are called. And they're asked to leave.
This is the very first one I've seen. I don't want to do it.
Please leave.
No, it's always good.
We need you to get into your car and leave the property.
Let's go to your car.
Andrew, go to your car.
The female cop is talking to him like she's a mom. She's like, Andrew, go to your car. And I kind of do that too when I'm like dealing with somebody that's like aggressive. I either get like a teacher voice or like a mum voice, and I'm like, just start talking to them like that. Look, you won't get any dessert, okay? All right, okay. Is that what you want?
Kush's strategy is part of an organised effort spreading across the country. In Victoria, sovereign citizen-linked groups have bombarded local government with so many petitions and protests, they've had to cancel events and ban the public from meetings. In Western Australia, intense lobbying has pushed more than a dozen cities and rural councils to consider opposing COVID rules. And in New South Wales and Queensland, one group even walked into council and police stations declaring they no longer held any jurisdiction.
I would love to opt out of society, but unfortunately it's not an actual option that exists, you know?
In Western Australia, I've come to meet a group that takes commitment to people power to a new level.
Oh, they're wearing purple.
How are you? I'm Alan. How are you?
The Sovereign People's Assembly of Western Australia is a self-declared common law group that has set
Oh,
up its own
no.
court.
Oh no.
It's even appointed its own common law sheriffs to enforce their judgments.
Uh-oh.
For the first time, they've agreed to speak to the mainstream media.
It's full time for some of us, all day, every day, 7 days a week, fielding lots of phone calls, lots of emails.
Imagine having this much free time and this is what you choose to do with it. You should like be playing lawn bowls, I don't know, crocheting, doing something cool, I don't know. They're LARPers? Yeah, it's absolute insanity. Like, you're working full time but doing nothing. Volunteer, like contribute to your community. It's such bizarre behavior. Like, they do this full time. Imagine if they were at like the soup kitchen full time, or you wonder what pay and benefits they get. Oh, they get the joy. They get the joy of liberating us from the oppressive Commonwealth of Australia. So there you go.
Emails, queries from all over Australia, all over the world now as well.
Candy. Oh, coffee.
This is from the
I love
Federal Court of
coffee.
Australia. They're breaking their own rules. So that's why people are coming to us, because they want remedy.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This common law court is now in session.
They held their first common law court case in 2022. On trial were the people who imposed the mandates during COVID.
As the jury, reached a verdict on all charges.
Yes.
Their jury finds the then Prime Minister Scott Morrison and all the state premiers.
Okay, I'll get behind this. Look up Scott Morrison. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. What the hell? I love sovereign citizens now. Where do I join? I don't hold a hose, mate. Put a hose up your butthole. It'll be just like Engadine Maccas again, Scott, but in reverse. This time the poo goes up your bum.
Guilty of multiple crimes.
On the charge of violation of the Nuremberg Code, how does the jury find the defendants?
Guilty.
On the charge of genocide?
Guilty.
On the charge of human trafficking?
Guilty. On the charges of human trafficking. After a really good lengthy discussion, the jury have agreed that with all the defendants on the charges of fraud,
they found Scott Morrison guilty of human trafficking. What the fuck?
remedy will start off with a minimum of 30 years for each defendant.
Duly noted. The people have decided, and that is it.
Clapping, we're clapping, yay!
I'm keen to ask the adjudicator, Alan, about the court cases.
When the common law sheriffs sentence someone like the Prime Minister, is that just symbolic? Is it just for attention, or are you serious? Are you seriously sentencing them?
Yeah, they do seem to be very selective about what they recognize and what they don't, and it's not congruent at all. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
They've come before a jury, and it is serious, yes. Yes, they've committed crimes. So, if you look at the recent COVID, one of our first major cases that we had was in a common law court with a full jury. And we heard the evidence as set out. There's no judges or magistrates in there. There's just an adjudicator and the witnesses. Yes, when they're found guilty, they are found guilty of a charge, and they could get a jail sentence or a fine. But once again, we can't impose that at this stage because the police won't recognise our court orders. The only tools we have is psychological and jails. And jails. Well, jails is over there. I'm not going to, I don't think we can lock them up in our back garden somewhere. So, but on these people, it's a psychological message to them. They play games with the people, basically.
2 of their common law sheriffs were recently jailed for contempt of court. They're still rattled by the case. The sentencing judge described the group's ideology as extremely dangerous, adding that dangerous ideas breed dangerous people.
You've had 2 of your members wind up in jail.
Absolutely.
How did that feel?
Devastating. Absolutely devastating.
In the conversation,
Nah, he got a boner. He wants to go to jail too. He wants to be like, guys, I sacrificed the mostest out of all of us. I went to jail and they weed in a cup and they threw it at me.
conversations I'm having, people keep raising their fears about being disarmed. It seems fueled by police revoking gun licenses from people with sovereign citizen beliefs. They fear the police want to disarm the people so they can control them.
Who's got all the guns? And it's no time in history as a population being disarmed has there not been genocide. And this is what they're doing here now. And I mean, talk about conspiracy. When we have all this information and we're presented to the authorities, I mean, we've asked for an audience with the commissioners, we've asked for an audience with politicians. They won't answer questions. Because they can't.
Uh-oh.
Alan makes a call for more guns.
I know that, as far as having a population that is...
You know why they want to disarm people that they know belong to the sovereign citizen group? Because it's almost like nationally and internationally, you guys have shown yourselves to kind of be a bit trigger happy, to kind of like to go pew pew and shoot people. And look, there is some element to mental illness to this, right? Because you can disagree with somebody politically, right? but you can still kind of see that like they have a cohesive like political belief that makes sense and could fit within the framework of society. Or even perhaps their political framework is that they want to just burn everything to the ground and start again. At least like that's some type of like tenable, like feasible idea, you know, no matter like how extreme it is, right? There's a lot of extreme political ideologies that you wouldn't necessarily say that a person that believes that is mentally ill. Perhaps you would say, you know, they're a bit extremist or something like that. But this just doesn't make sense. This just doesn't make sense. It's so illogical. It's just, you have to engage in magical thinking and you have to engage in the suspension of belief in order for this to be feasible, viable theory. Like, you have to throw everything out the window. It doesn't make any sense. So I think these people are just either, you know, one of three things or a combo of all three. Mentally ill, very disenfranchised from society, maybe, you know, some type of or some type of developmental disability, because this is not something that makes any sense.
Sensible and armed and educated is a good deterrent to not only its own government from enforcing things, but any foreign entity that wants to come into this country. And like the United States, they think about you've got a ready-made army sitting there ready to go that could potentially be difficult for an invader.
So, Leith, how long have you been involved in this?
After speaking with several members, it's clear Crown Leith Masters is the spiritual guru of the Sovereign People's Assembly of Western Australia.
Not the spiritual guru.
Leith, are you a sovereign citizen?
I am a sovereign citizen, and everyone is a sovereign citizen. And
I am a sovereign citizen, and I'm also a starseed, indigo child moonbeam. I was sent to Earth by the Anunnaki to bring you peace and love. And also stop the lizard people, international child molesters, from stealing the goo inside of our skulls.
that is worth knowing about, because the media love to put it out there as a spin that sovereign citizen is some kind of cult, something to be frightened of, or some radical movement. It is not that at all. It is simply the architecture between law and legal. So if we look at our diagram, the sovereign lives here in the living, in law, evidenced by the breath. That is the ultimate evidence of living breath.
What is the Great Awakening?
It is the movement out of one age of 2,000 years, called the Age of Pisces, where we were in guardianship, into the new age.
Delta, our age is ending. The Age of Pisces is ending. This is the dawning of the Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius. Oh no, the hippies are coming. Run, everybody. Run.
The Age of Aquarius, which is a time of humanitarianism, where we are totally poised to ensure that all of humanity is looked after equitably. That is the Great Awakening.
Uh-oh.
That sounds...
It's gonna try and eat us.
But what does it mean?
Gonna get us.
I've just been explaining it to you. As we move out of a legal system where we've been put into guardianship, where we can't be seen and we can't be heard, and then we move back into law where we are seen and we are heard, and all of the industries that have been created by the use of our resources, including the government, which is our public servant. It loves to put the word authority on all of its, and on the end of all of its departments. It's not the authority, it's the public servant. We're the authority, the people are the authority working in law.
Do you have trust in any mainstream institutions like hospitals, schools, or the health system?
Yeah, absolutely. But we have to recognise that what has been happened, now this is a key factor.
What has been happened?
In that all of those institutions are managed by our inherent right to resources, which are stored in what is called Cester KV trusts. Now, Cester KV Trust is something that means we will look after your resources whilst you are lost. And where we are lost is in the Holy See. And why in the Holy See? Because this is all Vatican constructs. We've been under the guardianship of the Vatican. So whilst we're lost, allegedly...
You do need Jesus, I will say that. I will say that. She does need Jesus. Ooh. Ooh. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the... I'm baptizing her. All right, let's go.
They get to monetize our energy and the planet through Things like the birth certificate and modes of currency, like the US dollar, for example.
He's like, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but my brain is short-circuiting.
When the Assembly's court or grand jury makes a judgment, it falls to the sheriffs to serve these orders to the parties. Today, they're serving the Western Australian Land Titles Office, Landgate, with documents relating to mortgages held by farmers.
How often do you...
I kind of feel sorry for them because they don't know how crazy they look, and they either don't have the capacity or they're so indoctrinated, or like, because intelligent people, you know, do get sucked into cults. That people can be kind of conditioned to believe anything. I don't know, maybe during the isolation of COVID, and maybe people went a little bit mad. Like I said, like I, you know, dealt with it better than most because of my health. I am somebody that, you know, doesn't get to do a lot, and it didn't affect me as badly as it affects others. But yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, I know, you know, they're kind of doing some harm, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel really sorry for them. I think they all need to like go through some type of deprogramming. Like this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing, and I feel sad for them. After COVID, there wasn't a debrief. Yeah, they did just expect people to get back to just start going out into the real world again without yeah, after a period of extreme isolation. That was going to be hard for a lot of people, for sure.
Go about serving people?
We've been doing a lot of serving this year. We've put together what we call bundles, which are bundles of documents which have been written by Crown Executive Orders and all the grand jury orders which are applicable to, in this case, and Donna can explain about the
farmers we've got.
Yeah.
Brought evidence to the grand jury. We've had up to 40 or 50 jurors vote unanimously on these orders around Australia. Yeah.
Now, what outcomes do you hope to achieve?
Farmers get their farms back.
Wow.
So what happened?
The assistant to the registrar come down and spoke to us for a while, and they are going to lodge the documents, not put them on the title, which we would like, but yeah, just taking them and accepting.
I would be so scared. I would press the security button as soon as I saw these guys coming. I would press the security button. I would press like the emergency button. I would pull the fire alarm. Because the thing is, like, imagine if these people did have guns. Terrifying.
Them and having them lodged and put on file, I think it's a good win.
Yeah. This is happening all over the country?
It is, yes.
Yeah. The sheriffs we are the guardians of the law. We are always coming in peace. We are always in peace.
So how do you feel then when you get labelled as a domestic terrorist? Because, you know, that label comes from somewhere, like it is.
FBI in America.
Yeah, yeah. But they do that because there have been radical instances where violence has occurred.
Well, it's just what we call the spin. It's like the sovereign citizen. It's out there to try and discredit us, but at the end of the day, law is the superior jurisdiction, and that is going to win out eventually.
We asked Landgate about the documents they received. They said they found no legal merit in the 200-odd pages and don't intend to take any further action at this time.
Jarvis Bay! Oh, I love the New South Wales South Coast. It's so pretty. It's so nice. Oh, I want to go there.
For some on the receiving end of pseudo-law judgments, the harm can feel very real.
How are you? Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Scott Murren lives in a state of constant readiness. He believes there's a risk he could lose his children to a sovereign citizen group.
I've had letters sent demanding I hand the children over.
The boy's mother became a sovereign citizen during
COVID.
No.
Oh no. Oh mate.
To say that I had to take.
Oh, I feel so sorry for this man. This must be terrifying. So the mum's mentally ill and she's become a sovereign citizen. I could see these people kidnapping his children. Oh, poor fella. Look at him.
My children to a isolated rural property somewhere in Gympie, I think in Queensland, and hand them over and face a law court up there in which I was looking at life in prison and hard labour. I don't know how they can make that happen. I've had threats that their law enforcement officers, spelled L-O-R-E, or their sheriffs, would come and take the kids and return them to their mother.
Okay, that is actually terrifying. That poor bugger, that poor man. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, that is next level. That is next level. I would be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified.
In 2021, Scott's ex took the boys to a protest in Canberra where the old
You need a law enforcement officer for your D&D campaign. You do have to keep those stories straight. You do have to keep the law straight. It's like these people just discovered homophones. They're like, well, when they say law, L-A-W, they really mean law, L-O-R-E, the ancient knowledge of the sovereign citizen. What the heck?
Parliament House doors were set on fire.
Oh.
It was sickening to see two young boys at the front doors of Old Parliament House. You know, kids shouldn't be present at any of that.
What kind of steps have you taken to protect your kids?
Lots. I've got friends that regularly patrol past our house day and night. If any suspicious vehicles or persons are around, I'm made aware pretty quickly. I've installed CCTV cameras. I've had to put trackers on my youngest son.
Aww.
So the two dots there show the boys still at school. I'll get a phone call from Tyler at the moment he gets on the bus or just before. Once I know they're on the bus, I'll track them all the way until I get here. It's generally about 15-20 minutes.
I need your most senior on duty.
Scott's ex is Helen Delaney. A video of her being stopped by police in her car went viral in 2023.
Oh, I remember this.
You don't have any jurisdiction on this land.
Whoa.
Absolutely, you're a freak. Yep. Man, I would love to just get you one-on-one.
Well, have a crack, mate. See how you go.
Last year, Helen was arrested for breaching an AVO and stalking.
You will be prosecuted privately and civilly liable. Did you understand that? I have a private lien schedule and you're trafficking and you understand that you're under arrest? Impersonating. No, I'm not under arrest. You're kidnapping me. This is, and I'm telling you, I'm not in your jurisdiction. Okay, you're foreign to me.
She spent several months in jail. It provided only a brief reprieve for Scott from the
Delta's BDSM kink has been exposed in chat, guys. Kinky, kinky. Kinky indeed.
group's activities.
This term keeps coming up, paper terrorism. What does it mean in your experience?
In my experience, once they get hold of your home address, your email, they bombard you. Some of the emails can be 50 pages long. It's gobbledygook, nonsense to me, but it's constant. You get that if a police officer's involved in the case and they manage to get his email.
Wait, does everybody in chat have a BDSM fetish? Should we start a club? No, actually, I don't want to be a part of that type of club. That's a bit too much. Maybe, I don't know.
Then he'll get the same. It happened to my lawyers. It happened to all of the judges and registrars in the federal court that were involved in our case. And it's relentless. It doesn't stop. Yeah.
It's Tutti freaking Fruity. Hello. Hope you're doing good. Oh.
I can see them walking down the street.
Yeah, we're just watching a Four Corners documentary about these crazy nut jobs called sovereign citizens. And we've discovered that they all have a BDSM kink, probably. What's a light bondage between consenting adults? Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a little light bondage between consenting adults. Look, we've all been there. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Straight.
G'day, how you doing, mate? I'm Mahmood. Pleasure to meet you. So tell me about this.
It's just our little koi pond.
Why koi?
Just the colours on them, I guess, and they're sort of peaceful to be around and watch and stuff.
Scott's son Tyler.
Okay, I want a koi pond more than anything on this earth, but not like one like that, like an in-ground koi pond with like a little waterfall, and I want to have a little Japanese garden around it. Am I becoming a sovereign citizen? The BDSMs, the koi ponds, it's all coming together, guys. We're through the looking glass.
Has had to find ways to cope with what's happened.
Does it help you kind of de-stress or
Definitely, yeah. Just to come out here for that, even just the 10 minutes and feed them and take in their surroundings and movements and stuff. Because they're a freshwater
So
fish,
pretty.
they have no predatory species.
This growing wave of anger aimed at our institutions is quietly spreading in communities across Australia. The broad ideologies of these groups are hard to classify, making it difficult for the authorities to measure their true impact. As these groups grow increasingly frustrated by a system they feel alienated from, and as their tactics against councils and courts fail, the risk of violence increases.
Once you start feeling angry and you start saying we can pick and choose which laws we obey, well, I'm going to keep some guns in the back garden. I'm going to start making threats to people. Why would I obey those sort of laws? And so we get some really dangerous threats. We have seen violence. Internationally, we've seen murders. We've seen the Reichsbürger movement in Germany tried to mount a coup. They tried to overthrow the government. Like, this is really violent. So we have to be really careful about this.
Are we dealing with ideology here, or is it something closer to faith?
Myself, I think it really is akin to a cult.
It's a cult. It's 100% a cult.
Exception of the.
And besides the BDSM, besides the light BDSM, we do not support this in any way, shape, or form. We disavow. We disavow. And the koi fish. We also like koi fish.
Reality that the rest of us in society accept. And once people go down that rabbit hole, it seems very, very hard for them to get out.
The first time I heard of them, it was definitely with the Americans, but I did see that crazy Queensland woman. I did that. She was the first like Australian instance I saw of it. It was, yeah. Oof. It's yeah. Wow. That was a lot. Yeah, I didn't realize. I knew that the shootings in Queensland, I knew that they were like some type of weirdos, but I didn't realize they were like sovereign citizen adjacent weirdos. With that farm in Queensland, yeah, that is insane. Insane. Ooh, let's watch some sea otters floating around because they are really cute. Look, it's a mummy sea otter and a baby sea otter, and they're cuddling each other and they're floating in the water. If you ever get pulled over, you want to try that language on them as a joke. Yeah, but what if it escalates the situation, Delta? What if they actually think you're a crazy person and they like restrain you? And then you're like, I'm just joking, bro. By the way, these handcuffs are really turning me on. And then, why am I so erect right now? Sorry, took the joke too far once again. Yeah, I could just see if you said like any sovereign citizen, like adjacent stuff, like them just like, I think because so many of these people are crazy and violent, they will yeah, they will. I think like if I was a cop and I heard any type of sovereign citizen language, my immediate like response would be to like mitigate any danger, so make sure that like you couldn't grab something or whatever. I reckon they would just cuff you straight away if they heard you spouting off any sovereign citizen stuff. Bam, handcuffs.